Okay, so today I am going to do a developer commentary of the level that I created for the whole Half-Life Tower 2, or TWHL Tower 2. The map I made was called Phantom Lab. It was made in February of 2020 and the full mod was released in November of 2020. And the first thing I decided was that I wanted my level to be a bit ominous and mysterious. So this was actually my second attempt at a level. I'll show you the other one at some point later, maybe in another video. But I wanted this one to be mysterious and kind of make the player question what was going on. And I always expected the level would be put somewhere in the middle of the tower, because when we were making these levels, we didn't know what order they would be in. So I kind of presumed it would come in the middle. It wouldn't be the first one, or it wouldn't be the last one, so that's kind of what I presumed. So when you come down, usually there's a door, for most people anyway, I presume. But, I left the door out, or hid the door for the time being, and then, there's this whole thing where the player gets teleported back and there's a piano soundbite to kind of cause a bit of suspense. Not like on like true cinematic scale, but just something to kind of show that something's gone on. And then this happens again. And obviously I've changed the environment to show that something mysterious is going on. And this is where we meet G-Man, who's the antagonist for the level. And G-Man speaks quite a lot. And, I kind of wanted him to speak as if he'd created this floor to test us. And that's what the whole premise is. So we'll listen to like this first part of the dialogue.
Well, now it would not be right to allow you to proceed without first demonstrating your limitless potential. Step inside and the experiment will commence.
And then the door is revealed, so this is G-Man controlling our movement, our every movement, and kind of testing us. Now, G-Man was voiced by Loch Ness Mobster, and he did a really, really good job of voicing the G-Man. And you're never going to get a fully accurate G-Man voice unless you hire Michael Shapiro himself. And because this is a mod, this is something that I created in my free time, I wasn't going to go out of the way and hire him, and I knew that Loch Ness Mobster could voice G-Man really well, and he did. So I'm actually really happy with the voice that he gave, and his performance of it, and I think it is really, really good. And then I'll show you an Easter egg. If you actually try and run back up the stairs, it just like teleports you back down, as if to say like, nah, you're not running away. So we're going to go into the level, and G-Man will speak more, as he does.
Now then,
and this is him explaining the challenge of the map, the premise of the map.
Down this tower of impossibilities, you must show that you are capable of dealing with.
And he mentions the tower as kind of like a meta thing. It's like he's aware of TWHL Tower 2. He knows what's going on.
Shut down the portal and you will be.
And he speaks about the portal, but the mistake I made is I didn't show the portal right now.
Hurry on now. The experiment begins.
Yeah, so as I just said, the first mistake I made is I didn't show the portal when he said shut down the portal. I should have, had some way of being able to see the portal. The next mistake I made, which is kind of the thing that this map has kind of really been called out on, is the fact he speaks so much. And I'm sure it's a surprise to hear that there was actually more lines that I had to cut out. But I do like having, setting up the premise of the map. It's not just a standard map, a boring walk-in. Not to say that any of the other maps are boring. I actually haven't played most of them. But I didn't want it to be walking in, taking down a few HECU soldiers and Vortigaunts. I wanted there to be like a story, not a story, but a premise. because trying to get a full story into mods is really difficult, as I've explained before. So I use G-Man as this kind of premise and the driver of the level. So he's created this phantom lab, this ghost lab, for us to kind of, test. He's testing us. I made this room blue because, G-Man's suit is blue. I colour-coded most rooms, but I'll talk about that later on. For now, let's get onto the map, because that's what you're all here for the gameplay, right? And these weapons are always very buggy. But I think it's the way, spawning in, the way they spawn in. Uh-oh, I am going to die. Need that. I think I'm on hard. I don't play this often. So this first room was just kind of an easy, well, it's supposed to be an easy, breaking the player into the level. And once I get this guy, I will, the next part will spawn. So just excuse me as I try and win this battle. And there's actually a bug if these guys they can stand here and this door will just close automatically. And it's the same with this door. If a zombie touches the door through here or comes close, then the door will just close itself and it locks it locks the player in so they can't get out, or rather progress. So I've no idea how to fix that. But anyway, so what I tried to do with this level, because we only got given a limited amount of space, of course, is I wanted to make 2 floors in one floor, so to speak. That was my challenge. Is it a bit pretentious? Yes it is. And I wanted to do it. It was kind of my personal goal was to create a level with 2 levels, like a floor with 2 floors. And so I needed to have rooms that displayed, the fact that there were 2 floors, and I did that with, this, a few of these rooms, and I'll show you more. You'll be able to see more of the rooms. But there was a lot more detail in these levels, and one thing that kind of stopped me from detailing more is I kept hitting these entity limits and stuff like that. If I could break that. Yeah, I kept hitting these entity limits, and then I'd have to take a ton of stuff out. And even when I sent it in, allegedly, they kept hitting the entity limits with it. So they had to change the, whatever, funk details and stuff like that. Because I didn't know what I was doing, because this was only my second gold source level, of course. We'll move on for now. And I'll go back to that area once I've taken on these guys. This is just a bit more, normal combat, nothing too special. And I've tried to make it so that there's enough places to kind of hide back. I like that guy up there because he's not directly accessible to the player. You kind of have to fight him with with your gun. So I spoke earlier about color coding the rooms, and as you see, this room is blue basically. All of the lights are blue, most of the pipes are blue, and there's a lot of blue around, and this is just to help the player identify where they are. So obviously this room is the one that G-Man was standing at the start, but if we go back here, most of this room is red lights. red walls, even, oh yeah, we can't access that area, but you see like red fire extinguishers, and I think we can see it through here, yeah, red pipes, just to help the player understand where they were in relation to the rest of the, or kind of help identify each of the rooms. So this is where I start to utilise the multi-level part of the map. And when you jump up here, G-Man walks away. Again, he's always, observing the player and kind of taking notes. That's kind of the impression that I wanted to give. But as soon as you make it up here, there's a very simple jump. So even if you don't understand that that's where you've got to go, having this, overhang and the box should help, the player get up here after trying this door and this door. Incidentally, this door is at the very edge of the map. It doesn't go anywhere. It's only for decoration, and it doesn't make sense, in terms of the tower. This would be going off the side of the tower. But I wanted this to feel a bit strange and a bit mysterious, as I've said before. So we're going to do this jump. You don't really need this pipe, but I put it there just in case, it was difficult to make the jump. And then we make it into the orange room. And this is the first glimpse we get of the portal that the G-Man spoke of at the start of the level. And this is just kind of to say, this is the portal, this is the aim of the map. He said, shut down the portal. Now, I did absolutely nothing to enforce that, so it's quite difficult for the player to, kind of remember that goal, but now I've shown it to them. They know kind of the core or the central point of the map. That guy was pretty easy to take out. Orange room, orange pipes and books and stuff like that. Oh, right, yes, this is cool. Status report.
Status report denied.
Because one day I was on the Discord for TWHL, and I saw someone said that it was mandatory to add in a status report Easter egg. So, I thought, I better add one in. But then it turns out no one did it. But I think they might have been joking. But I'm glad I put it in anyway. Because someone said that barely anyone else put them in. But yes, there's stuff to see all over. There's just like this plant. I don't know why there's a plant there. I don't know. I simply made this room because I'd made some textures for a previous gold source map I worked on, and I wanted to use them. So that's why this kind of lounge exists. It's a bit out of place, but I don't really mind, because the purpose of this level is, strange things. I don't know what he's doing down there. But yes, I kind of borrowed a lot of the textures, like the floor texture, the wall texture. I made all them and wanted to use them. Then we reached the aqua room, the light blue room, with these pesky head crabs. I wanted to keep head crab combat to a minimum, and using them in this room was actually quite good, because the room's very small, the place is flooded, the place is electrocuted, or the water's electrocuted. Spoilers for the CD, by the way, I forgot to say that. But that's where I hid it, because I couldn't really be bothered making up something else, somewhere to hide it, and I think I hid it quite late on in development. but then you can slowly walk over. Now, incidentally, I think you can break these. Yeah. And if you go like that, you can actually break that. So you've got to be careful when you're shooting the head crabs. But I just like the idea of a flooded laboratory, and I made sure to make the wire directly in front of the players. They came in and, you know, bright red and sparking. So and then, you know, you're still seeing the G-Man, and you can see into the, you know, first lab you were in. So it's kind of making good use of space, in that you can it acts as a something to look into. Even though you've been there, you can familiarize yourself and know exactly where you are, which is really good in terms of level design. And then once again you can see the final battle chamber and the portal. He's just going to stand there. Uh-oh. And there's windows all over, just to kind of show that I managed to get 2 floors in one level, which is crazy. So I put this bright green light here to draw the player's attention to it, because, yeah, well, just because I wanted them to see that that is, you know, what they need to get to. Obviously, the elevator's the main item here, the next place we need to get into, but obviously it's locked. So to do that, I put a, you know, card reader puzzle, where it's basically find the key card, and you go in here, and it's there. Now I noticed this one is open. I can't remember. I don't think I did that. I think they must, you know, someone else must have done it, probably based on playtesting, which is a good idea. You know, it shows that they can actually be opened and whatnot. I mean, I would have done the other cabinet. Maybe it was me. I can't remember, to be honest. But I know this was play tested after I submitted it. And right now, if you get it in there, and then we've got this cool little Easter egg.
Greetings.
Because I knew most people would check there for the card, or maybe like try and open it, and the G-Man is just hiding in the closet. No idea why. No rhyme or reason. It's just a funny thing. And now we can access this room, which then helps us access the elevator. So it's very back and forward, and I did it just so I could make use of every single unit of space. You know, like there's no blocked off rooms or blocked off areas. You know, every space is a room. And I like kind of the detail to the ceiling. You know, that's kind of why I made it the ceiling. It makes this room look much more interesting if you look at it from up here. And I wrote this elevator music just for this mod. So now we come into the main chamber. And I just wanted to kind of ramp up the combat in this area, make it slightly more challenging, but I didn't really do that. I kind of just added more, which is never a good, you know, never a good way to go. So that's one thing I think I would change. The difficulty was, by the time I got around to detailing this area, I'd completely run out of, entities to use in terms of I kept hitting that entity limit for brushes and stuff like that. There was a lot of stuff in this room, like before there was like kind of boxes and crates and a cart in the middle here, and they all just had to be removed just because this room just was so small. I wanted it to be kind of like the combat area. You can see G-Man's up there in the window in the orange room where we were before. And the good thing is, with this control room, I've managed to create an extra kind of place to be, to take cover from enemies and whatnot. And you get your supplies, I guess, from here. There used to be shelves. I can't remember if I removed them or someone else removed them, but yes, they've gone. Probably because they were taking up too much entity space. And I've placed this big red button saying disengage portal. And this was borrowed from the previous map I did. I wanted to use, the same animation and sounds and textures for these portal things. And that's what I did. And then this is going to like spawn a ton of enemies. Well, only 3. And then the doors magically open. And as I said, this room's good for taking cover. This guy needs a lot more hits. And then just to make sure the player kind of finishes the job, terminate portal. I don't know what these buttons, these buttons don't mean anything in terms of the console. I just put them there for the player to feel like they were achieving something. And then at the end, I kind of wanted to vary the combat, so I added in the blowtorch sequence, which I borrowed from the map I did for Stalwart XT, the Black Mesa mod that I created with Jamaican Dave. And it was the same concept in that the HECU blowtorched their way into the room. And I had to add the sounds in, as you heard them shouting, to kind of alert the player as to what exactly was happening. These guys kind of wait a long time before spawning in. Sometimes they die because it's quite a delayed reaction. These guys are very punishing. Uh-oh. So yeah, the good thing about the blowtorches is it gives you time to prepare. So you can get your trip mines and your satchel, whatever, I don't know what you call them, the packs, the explodey things. This guy's still alive. I wanted one more to, if the player was running through this area looking for the way to go out, then this guy would keep them in this area, or at least draw their attention to the area, on the way out. And it glitches through the floor, it's no big deal, right? There seems to be a lot of graphical glitches, but yes, overall that battle, I can't help but feel it's very underwhelming. Just because of the way it was. I think I did overload this map far too much with so many rooms and so many, levels. You've got this floor and that floor, and because of that I had to sacrifice so much gameplay. That was my main issue, and it's something I think if I were to do this again I wouldn't make a map like this. I'd make a quicker map, a more light-hearted map. But it was fun to make, definitely. I loved having the limitations. In fact, it encouraged me to make this, you know, knowing I only had so much, I knew I couldn't like start adding on more sections or, you know, branching out here or making a room here. I know I had this one layout and I had to stick to it. Or I had like a cubed room and that's it. So that was good. And then, yes, now we're back in the blue room again. And then we can reach the exit. Where G-Man speaks again. No doubt annoying every single player.
You are capable of handling any situation. Now I am a man of my word. I will let you continue your journey of descent. But should I require a
I wasn't sure how many
let's
different
just say that
G-men there would be in this tower.
time
I expected there
we shall meet
would be a lot of them,
again.
but as far as I'm aware, there weren't. I'm not sure though. I haven't played the mod yet. But yes, I wasn't sure, like, maybe we'd see more G-men sightings, so I was hoping he'd show up again. But this was kind of this represented the end as we actually met G-Man face to face. Like, before we've always been behind glass or behind the, you know, the grate thing. But now we're actually face to face and we can shoot him, but except we can't because, you know, Gold Source doesn't allow for that. Well, it probably does, or Spirit probably does. I'm not sure. And then that's it. That's the map. And I enjoyed working on it. It was a good challenge. I stand by having G-Man talking a lot, because if you actually listen to what he's saying and actually get into the spirit of it all, it can be quite an interesting, you know, level to play. It's like it's not just a standard go in and shoot enemies, which is what I wanted. But the mistake I made was I was too arrogant and I thought I could pull off a level with 2 floors and have good puzzles and good combat, but that was not the case in terms of the fact that I had, you know, there's so little space to use basically. But overall, I enjoyed the experience and I look forward to playing the rest of the tower.